What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live broadcast of the Engadget Podcast. I'm Senior Editor Devindra Hardwar. This week joined by Managing Editor Cherlynn Lowe. What's up, Cherlynn? She's back.
Hello, I am.
Uh,
Oh, wow. My voice is not back, though, apparently. Dang.
Welcome. Yeah. We gotta get Cherlynn back and podcast ready. And also, we've got podcast producer Ben Elman here. Hey, Ben.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. The audience, you have been asking, where is Cherlynn? What's she up to? She's back. She's just been super busy prepping for CES and doing all of our like managerial stuff, right?
I think
Yeah.
the correct way of saying it is that Cherlynn never left. She just left the podcast because now she's very important and she
Cherlynn has
needs to
ascended.
keep everything else running so we can be silly on the internet on
I-
Thursdays.
For sure.
I find it funny. Devindra was like, hey, do you think you can join this week? Blah, blah, for the last one of the year. And I was like, let me check. And I looked at my calendar and there are literally 2 events that overlap the podcast slot. And I was like, oh, I think if I end the first one early and then I join the next one late, I think I'll be fine. That's what it is now.
That's how it's meeting management now once you're at the manager level. So it's great to have Cherlynn back, folks. We are going to be doing a couple of things. We're going to be looking back at 2025 in tech. And also I realized next week is Christmas and the week after that, our typical live stream time, that's New Year's Day. So we are not going to be around those days. So we're going to record 2 audio podcasts during this stream. We're going to do the look back at 2025 and then Cherlynn's likely going to jet at that point, and then we will do a look forward to CES 2026 and probably some other stuff we're expecting next year. We'll do some Q&A with you guys as well. So just that is the setup, folks. Hello, everybody in the audience. Hello, who's here? Simon BMTL said he was
All
going
these-
Simon B saying that he can't be here.
Well,
Ha, Simon, you gotta watch the stream afterward. Simon also did a very good job and sent me some recommendations for Montreal.
nice.
So I'm going to be in Montreal this coming weekend.
All these crowns are so new to me. I've not seen this chat in a
gamified
minute.
The chat. It's
They've gamified the YouTube chat, yeah.
because it's,
So it's like based on how much you comment in there?
I think so, yeah.
And, you know, Google's got to make everything like a little bit of an engagement bait thing. So anyway, hello TXAL17, Tony Life Picks. Kevin says hello.
Hey,
everybody.
Kevin says hi, TXL17 and Simon
Right.
BMTL. Tony Life Picks. Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, like, who was it? Mark Dell has been around kind of recently, but of course Mark Dell might not be here for this important episode. We're doing 2 episodes in one. So
I hope Mark Dell watches back and sees that we missed him.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out on one of the social platforms or something. Okay, so if you've watched the stream before, like Kevin says, or anybody else, you know what's about to happen. If you haven't, welcome. Congratulations on finding the last episode of the year, but join us in the new year. We're going to count down from 3, and at the end of 3, everyone on the stream is going to like snap their fingers or clap their hands or something. That helps me, the editor, figure out where the files start. And if you want to put a clap hands emoji or snap fingers emoji or clapperboard movie set style thing in the chat, that's always appreciated. So I'm going to count down from 3, 2, 1, and some silence. I'll let you know when the silence is over. All right, silence over.
Let's go. And for those wondering, yes, I am wearing one of the Windows Christmas sweaters because come on.
I'm going to bring that with me.
My back.
Either wear that to a holiday party or bring it with me to England. So
You absolutely, and they'll be like, where's that wonderful green pasture? Is that in
Here.
America? Is that an American landmark? It is on our computer screens.
yes, it's also in England.
That's true.
It is from like the UK.
No,
It's
that's
in the UK?
California. It's like a
it?
California field. Yeah.
It's like a plane. Yeah.
Yeah, you could drive there and it doesn't look very different. People take pictures there all the time. So, okay.
Ooh, Daniel Diaz. Simon BMTL sadly has to leave. Says this sounds like it might be the best episode this year. I mean, how yes. But anyway.
Because Cherlynn is here.
I mean, I've been here on episodes this year too. But this is
Yeah,
a
but-
good episode. It's a good episode.
It's a good episode also because we're just ready to wrap things up. We're done.
Yeah.
Let's end 2020.
No more F's left to give.
And hopefully 2026 will be better. Hopefully it's not take any other more beloved thing from us. God damn it! What is going on this year?
I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not holding out hope, and usually, like Devendra is the one not holding out hope. But anyway, let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want me to do the host intro with you, Dev, as in like the way I usually do it, or do you want me to do it the way the guests do
I
it?
will let you. You can. I will leave a space.
Take the pause.
and
Yeah. Okay.
do the thing like you could do. Yeah. Good call.
Okay.
Good ask.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. What's up, Internet, and welcome back to the Engadget Podcast. I'm Senior Editor Devendra Hardawar.
I'm Managing Editor Cherlynn Lowe.
What's that? Cherlynn's everyone's
Hello.
surprised. Welcome back, Cherlynn. Cherlynn's been super busy, so I understand you've not had time to do the podcast, but good to have you back. How have you been doing?
I'm alive. It's been a lot of stress, but this part of the year every year I love. There's no one needing my attention.
Nice. Yeah, things get kind of quiet, and then like the volume immediately goes up to 11 once we hit CES. So like it's a weird time. Also joining us today's podcast producer Ben Ellman. Hey Ben. Hello Ben.
Yeah, let me unmute myself.
Yes.
Hi everybody. Happy to be here, and happy that Cherlynn is here.
Happy. We're going to be looking back at 2025, folks. We actually already discussed our best of 2025 and worst of 2025 stories, but you know, we can get even more relaxed and talk about our own personal lists. I want to know what Cherlynn's thinking after being, you know, on a more organizational level, like thinking high level about what we're covering, Cherlynn. Like I do want to know what is interesting to you. We've got devices, some of our favorite devices of the year, trends that we'll be talking about. So stay tuned for all of that. And also in a couple weeks, we are definitely going to be doing a CES 2026 preview. I'll give you a secret. If you go to our YouTube channel and look at the latest live stream that we're doing for this episode, it's all going to be there. But we're going to save the podcast, the audio episode, just a little later so we could drop that on January 2nd. So anyway, stay tuned for all that stuff. As always, folks, if you're enjoying the show, please be sure to subscribe. Please be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice. Leave us a review on iTunes and drop us an email at podcastinggadget.com. We typically do a live stream Thursday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, but it's going to be a while until we do like a regular one. It's going to be a couple weeks, I guess not until the second week of January after CES. That's when I can guarantee a regular live stream coming back. So stay tuned for all that. Hey, go back and watch our old live streams because we do show off gadgets and we have a fun time. And yeah, really send us those emails too, because Ask Engadget, we should be doing more of those. Anything you send us could be used in the show or on that section of the site. So please, podcastinggadget.com. Let's take a look back at 2025. And like I said, we've already discussed our best of 2025. Go check out that story at Engadget. Like just the stuff you'd expect, right? The latest iPhone, latest Mac stuff, latest Google Pixel phones. That all led the list for us, but I am more interested in what we personally are highlighting this year for ourselves. So Cherlynn, I will kick it off with you. What's your favorite gadget of the year?
It's hard for me to just pick one.
Mm-hmm.
So mine might have a recency bias. I've been spending some time. My most recent review that I wrote for Engadget was the Kindle Scribe Color Soft.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually kind of like it, if only because compared to the Remarkable Paper Pro, those colors really pop. It's so fast and snappy and responsive. I use it every morning to write morning pages. So I like the Kindle Scribe Color Soft. It's up there as one of my like favorite gadgets of the year. Not because it in itself is good, but because like I like the category of devices. And with color, the Kindle Scribe is actually like one of the stronger ones out there. And then my true favorite gadget, which might be indicative of Engadget's direction in 2026, is the shark face sucker. It's
I know what that is. Yes.
Yes, it's the gunk sucker made by Shark that will cleanse your pores, and like it counts as a gadget, right? Like I think.
Have you noticed a difference? It's good for you.
it feels good. Like I can go longer in between like
Mhm,
actual facial appointments with
mhm,
my skin still feeling sort of like as soft and smooth and clean as it is right after a facial session. And I think it's just so it really seems to replicate the experience I get at like a salon
mhm.
with the hydrofacial types of treatments. So I think
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
it's a very uh not your hardcore type of gadget, right? Like not our usual bread and butter. And it's like it's almost
It's
like
cool.
questionable. Yeah, it's questionable to call it a gadget. I don't know.
I don't
Do
I think
y'all
it's
call it?
questionable because you know what? Estheticians and those beauty places charge so much money for those
Yes,
services, like,
exactly.
it's ridiculous. So I had
Yeah.
to do actually, I did the aqua cleanse or whatever you call that this
Yes.
year, Cherlynn, because I had a
Okay.
microneedling, appointment, and microneedling, very
Yeah.
painful. The name,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
needles in the name,
Yes.
just putting that out there for anybody who decides to do that, but I want people with, like, some acne stuff. So I did that.
Yeah.
They did a hydrofacial before that. It was very expensive, but it
Yeah, yeah.
felt amazing. So does the shark feel as good as that?
It feels very good. It's not gonna be as, like, amazing because, having someone do it for you versus
Mhm.
holding something to your face is always gonna be a bit different. Salon studio grade, salon grade, hardware is definitely gonna be stronger, better than at home stuff. But, yeah, no, I was surprised when I used it. I was like, "Whoa, wait, hang on a second. This is actually very similar, to the feeling." And, yeah, I've done microdermabrasion. I've done, LED masks as well. We do a lot of that, and I don't know, just something about the hydrofacial feels more there's a tactility to it that
Yeah.
feels more effective. It feels more like real, like it's really doing something compared to like a light shining on my face. Um,
The lights just feel like, first of all, the pictures of Sherlyn in the LED masks, you look like a murderer. You look like somebody.
well, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrifying. You can go look those up at Engadget, but every time you wear one of those, also your eyes get really, because I have one of those too, your eyes get really messed up because it's so bright red. So you kind of have to close your eyes for that time and
Yeah,
keep them
yeah.
for a long time. Anyway, I'm glad this is working for you. I like the whole aesthetic and beauty devices thing because
Yes.
they're getting better. You used to have to pay a lot of money for this stuff. I have a little scrubber thingy that kind of
Right.
scrubs in facial cleansers really well. And again, you had to go somewhere and use a device and spend hundreds of dollars for those sessions. So it's
Yeah.
very cool. You could get that. I like that pick. So, not to get too personal, like, is there actual? Do you notice
Right, right.
gunk coming out? Like, is it helpful?
Right, right, right. The water
Notice it?
always
Yeah.
comes out a bit cloudy.
Okay.
So I'm always like, is it though? Is it? And it does go in like clear. So I'm like, I still am a little skeptical of like, is it just removing the layer of like you have to apply this like peel on your skin before you do it. So I'm like, is it just that foaming up? But then I did it one time without the peel that Shark supplies, and just like right after I apply like a Mediheal thing, maybe it's that coming out, but it's still cloudy. So I like to believe it's doing something.
It's better than, like, there's a lot of exfoliating stuff on, like, TikTok and places where we're like, "Oh, look at these, the beads are coming off," and it's
Yeah,
probably the product itself
exactly,
peeling off,
exactly. Those are always the
making it,
product itself.
yeah, making it seem like it's doing something useful. Anyway, I will say, dudes, do not be afraid of this stuff. The stuff
Yeah.
may help you. Something worth considering. My pick is a lot more basic, but I've talked about this before. I've always loved the AirPods Pro. I It's a device that I have on me all practically 24/7, like, as I'm up and doing stuff, I always have AirPods on me. And I have to say the AirPods Pro 3 are kind of a miracle. Like, just how good they are. We've talked about this
Okay.
before on the show. But have you spent a lot of time with the Pro 3, Sherlyn?
Which is the most recent gen? Is it 3 or
The
4? I
Pro
forget.
3. Pro 3, yeah.
Yeah, I've used that. I use that on the daily now, yeah. It's pretty
It's
good.
it's really good because before you could take, like, the first AirPods Pro or the Pro 2. They're good most of the time. Noise canceling's pretty good. You take them on the plane, not so good. Like,
Right.
immediately, I would always swap to, like, the Sony cans or something for real good noise canceling on a plane. And now when I take flights, the AirPods Pro 3 are incredible. Like,
Yeah,
they just do such a really good job of
very good.
noise canceling, and in some ways better than
Mm,
Sony. I have the 1000 XM5 right now,
mm.
which are really good headphones, and I think the Pro 3s actually work better in some ways and still leave you open to calling, Siri and everything. So I'm living and loving the
I
AirPods
have a
Pro 3.
question about the AirPods Pro 3. Do you use
Yeah,
the, like, head gestures?
I don't.
Okay.
I feel
I
like that opens up so many gateways for bad things
right.
to happen. Like somebody's calling you and you're like, oh, okay, accept call. No, no, don't do
Right,
that.
right. I mean, they have thought about it. I find it actually a little bit annoying. I use it, so I've been testing. I've been using in my daily life like AirPods Pro 3 with the Apple Watch Series 11 and iPhone 17 Pro. So like, oh, the latest stuff to make sure I know everything when I review things. And like I've been doing Workout Buddy on every morning walk. And
Mhm.
okay, first of all, Workout Buddy is a little bit annoying. I'm like, I don't need the 10-minute reminder and the 20-minute
Yeah,
reminder
no,
and
yeah.
the like heart rate zone reminder, everything. So I need to tweak it to turn those off, which I did. But every time Workout Buddy says something during your workout, with the AirPods Pro in, you can like shake your head, you can nod your head to be like
Right.
dismissing it. And it takes a while. Like you have to actually like nod a few times. So I think but that's by design, right? It's trying to eliminate that situation you just described. So I mean, I think it's fine. I think though, to your point, the AirPods Pro 3 is cool, partly because the heart rate sensors in them. Have you used those?
I have because I also have the new Apple Watch too, and it's like I
Yeah.
also try
Oh,
to
you don't need them.
religiously wear that. I really like the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
I have not used just the heart rate sensor on the Pro 3. It's a cool
Mm,
feature. It's cool that it's
yeah.
there because then you don't if you don't have anything, you can still track,
Heart rate.
certain sense of heart rate. Yeah, that's cool. Have you found that useful?
Yeah, you like so if you I'm not a person that wears a watch to sleep. I'm less likely even to wear headphones to sleep, right? But
Mhm.
like if you find yourself, I don't know, in a place where you didn't bring your watch or your watch more likely has run out of battery, but your
That's
AirPods are still chugging along, you can use them to track a walk, right? Whatever you want to. I think that is handy.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I just want to also say, like, just sound quality wise, they're so much better. The spatial audio stuff that Apple does still sounds pretty good. So I'm using Apple Music more and more. Sometimes you get songs encoded in that like surround track. I really like it. It's really the noise canceling. Like I like to work outside sometimes, and I live in
Yeah.
the suburbs, and like leaf blower hell tends to happen
Yeah.
in the mornings. Even like as we get into winter, my neighbor is like building an addition to his deck or something, so it's like sawing and noise all day.
Neighbor
And
noise. I hate it.
it sucks. And
Yeah.
I plug those in. I'm just like, it's zen. It's just like quiet down the mess, and it's actually really good for um, I think as a parents, I'm noticing like when I get more overstimulated, you know, and that makes it
Mm.
kind of crazy. So
Mhm.
if the kids are listening to the K-pop Demon Hunters soundtrack for the 100th time, it's a great soundtrack. Or more annoying kid stuff, I can just like pop in the headphones and be like, okay, you guys do your thing. I can see you, I can hear you, but also I'm gonna be in like a little cone of silence. So
Right.
I am not going insane, and that helps as a parent too. So
It
there's
also helps you be
Mhm.
present, like
Yes.
in the same room, and
Yes.
also not be going crazy. People don't talk about how overstimulating kids are.
It's a and then, like, I don't think people like, I think my parents would also get really frazzled when they're overstimulated, but they did not know that was a thing, right?
Yeah,
So
like the
that generation would
concept of
just
the
be in
word
their head.
overstimulated didn't exist.
It didn't exist, and they didn't know enough about themselves. So it's just like that whole older generation, people just get mad at their kids, and just start shouting at their kids. And it's like, oh well, we can manage that now. We have the technology. We also have the mental health awareness to control our behavior a little more now too. So I appreciate it for that. I spend a lot of the day with one earbud plugged in, listening to podcasts, listening to audiobooks. Highly recommend it. Good way to listen to books if you don't have time to like sit down and read as well. Anyway, Pro 3, AirPods Pro 3, that's my main pick. Still my favorite gadget of the year. Ben, anything you want to highlight on your end?
So my gadget of the year is more of a technology
Oh, yes.
advance. It's AI image and video generation. We don't have a physical product for this quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that the Humane Pin was the gadget. I'm not saying the Rabbit R1 was the
That was
gadget
last year, too.
either.
That was 24.
That was, yeah, those were last year, but also they sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the biggest tech story of the year for me was definitely the fact that we've gone from late 2024 where if you generated a AI image it would have like way too many
Mm-hmm.
fingers and it would be way too, the skin of a human would be way too like smooth and glossy, to now you can generate things that feel convincing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's so scary. I think a sub pick for this, maybe favorite media,
Mm-hmm.
is Empire. excuse me, Empire of AI by Karen Howe.
Yes.
Usually I don't read a nonfiction book immediately as it comes out. Nonfiction books to me are, as we say in the media industry, pretty evergreen. You can read it right after it came out and like be smarter about whatever the topic is, if it's currently happening, or you could read it in 5 years and you can probably still get a lot of information out of it. But I think that hearing Karen Howe talk about how OpenAI was founded and grew and how much friction it had between the business part of it and the AI safety part of it helped make sense of why the AI image and video generation is so scary to me.
Yeah.
This is a break society sort of thing. This is not Rocco's Basilisk. This is not Universal Paperclips or anything, but this is a much more near-term thing of like, how can a video of like security camera from a big box store, foment possible like racial prejudice? It doesn't need to be anything specific. It just needs to be convincing enough. And I saw all of that happening when I saw that video of Sam Altman being arrested in the middle of a Target or something, trying to like get more GPUs to make Sora better.
It's funny how like science fiction writers would talk about the technology that we developed. Why did we create this? You didn't think about why you should. You just did it because you could. The Jurassic Park thing. That's bringing dinosaurs back to life. And the stuff that's breaking society for us is like, well, we've got the copyright infringement machine, and we've got like stuff that can immediately make fake videos and make videos that make it hard to discern what's real and what's not. And that is scary too. But it didn't feel, I guess 1984, Fahrenheit 451 both kind of like alluded to like how this could be a thing, but it was not like one of the bigger topics among sci-fi writers. Anyway, good pick, Ben. I think Empire of AI, essential reading. If you want to understand what's going on with OpenAI, the AI industry right now, and why it's such a mess, TLDR, they have no idea what they're doing. That's basically it. Cherlynn, you should totally check out that book too, because it's really well done. Ben, I was asking, what is your favorite device? So I'll get back to you around that. But Cherlynn, any trends? Any trends you want to come back to?
Yeah, so I wrote for our winners in tech 2025 piece. There were two things that I called out as like good trends and stuff like that. One was I loved how fast charging really started to make its way to things like the Apple Watch series. What was it, 3 or something? SE3 is what I meant. But also the Series 11, right? Like the Series 11 got a significant charging bump, but it was the Pixel Watch 4 where like fast charging really sped things up so quickly for the Pixel Watch that like reviewers and myself all were like, wow, the main thing we like about this thing is how quickly it charges, because like I don't even in my testing and since I've been using it, I don't even need to think about putting this thing on the cradle overnight. I just like, oh, I'm about to leave. All right, let's put it on the charger for like 10 minutes. It'll be enough for the like rest of the day.
That's cool.
So that was pretty good. And then I saw that the iPad Pro M5 this year, it's the first iPad to have fast charging as well. And then you can see earlier in the year we had fast charging coming to EVs and all of that stuff. I think, we think of fast charging as somewhat not 2025 development, right? But in 2025, I think we saw it trickle out to so many different categories.
If you ask Qualcomm, it's like a freaking 2010, 2012 development. Like I went to all those Qualcomm things back at Mobile World Congress back then. They're like, fast charging is coming, guys. We're gonna make it happen. Took years and years and years.
Yeah.
Years. It took a long. It was like the rollout of 5G, waiting for 5G to happen. So it is finally happening. That's a good pick. How fast is the Pixel Watch?
My goodness. Like I mean, there's a lot of like rates that they'll tell you from 0 to I want to say 50%. It's like 10 to 15 minutes. It's almost nothing. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a defining feature of the Apple Watch Series 11, but I did notice like
it's not defining, but yeah.
I put it down for like 20, 30 minutes and like boom, full
yeah.
charged. or even
Yeah.
if it's 10 minutes, it's like
Yeah.
50% or some major amount. So it's like that's helpful. That's nice. I
Right.
get this thing
Right.
in. Yeah, it's
So
been
the
super great.
other trend I called out in that
Mm,
story, another one, I think I picked these to be a bit silly sometimes. I chose magnets, right? So I think this was the year that Google like launched Pixel Snap, right? Which was
mhm,
their answer or their take on Apple's MagSafe for like magnetic accessories to their phones that also
mhm.
like have the T2 wireless charging standard. And then I also saw like magnets show up in Apple's Apple made this loop strap for the iPhone Air or whatever it was. And
That
it was like
yeah.
the way that you can change the length of the strap is like because of the way they snap onto each other with magnets. I was like, who cares about this thing? And then I like tried it out for myself. I was like, wow, this is like it's like a low key game changer.
It's
And then
yeah,
the
yeah.
the rule of threes, the third thing about magnets I saw this year in gadgets was Kindle Scribe, the third generation.
Mhm.
They really like strengthened the magnetic attachment between the pen and the tablet. So it snaps on and it stays on so much more securely, which really directly addresses an issue I had with the old model
Yeah.
where like I just hated that the pen didn't stay on very well.
Magnets are
Um
good. Magnets are
I
so
love
cool.
magnets.
We've talked about MagSafe quite a bit too. Like I have become so MagSafe pilled. I will always have a
Yes.
MagSafe case on my iPhone because I
Yes.
slap it on my car. It's here in a wireless charger on my desk. I like plug all sorts of accessories to it. I love the MagSafe battery packs too,
Right.
which are so much better than like juggling, putting a USB cable and a little charger in your pocket was never a good time. It's funny that other societies have maglev trains, like Japan,
Right?
China, doubling down the maglev trains, going super fast. We don't have much in America, at least. So it's like, okay, I like that the magnet makes my phone go sticky. I like that the case clips with the magnet. A good pick there, Cherlynn.
Right, right. Thank you.
Hmm.
Wait, can I get another try on gadget of the year now?
Gadget
Gadget. Okay.
device.
The DJI mic minis and
Mhm,
also
yes.
Rode Wireless Pro wireless mics.
Hmm.
This was the year when I really embraced lav mics,
Hmm.
even though I didn't really want to. The Rode mics are better than the DJI mics. I have a set of DJI mic minis. I want to trade them in for the Rode mics because I
Hmm.
don't know if there's a model of DJI like little lavs that also record on the device as well.
I think the fatter ones. So it's like
Yeah,
the DJI mics, I believe, did that. The mic mini is a like smaller one, and that one didn't have onboard recording. Yeah, I believe, but I have to
but
double check.
also like I'm biased toward Rode because Rode,
It's
makes a
Pro.
bunch of other audio stuff that I've used in the past.
I'm using a Pro
Um
microphone right now. Yeah.
so it's more useful for recording without putting a mic in somebody's face. In some
Mhm.
cases people don't like that, and also like everybody's doing more video, so yes, I have come around to the like
Mhm.
mini mics and like Bluetooth stuff that connects to your phone because
The difference
it's
between
really good enough.
a good TikTok and a bad TikTok or short video is like if you cannot hear the person, or if you hear they're just using like smartphone audio and they're trying to have like a good say something and you can't hear them because it's all separated by background noise, it makes a big difference. So if you're making short form video, you need one of the mics, not just to hold it up in like a little, hold it up like a little interviewer. Like it's a legit function and it helps such a ton. So yeah, good picks there, Ben.
I mean, there's also like psychology research that
Mhm.
says that people are more likely to trust something if there's good audio.
I believe that. I believe that. And also like some people are definitely leading into the ASMR side of things too. So then it gets kind of like, oh, I stumbled into ASMR TikTok and now I'm feeling things and I probably shouldn't. I should probably flip away
Ooh.
from this video. Why are you doing this to me? Why does ASMR work like this? It's torture. It's magic. I don't know. I'm gonna pick up a trend here. It's a piece I actually just put up recently this week. It's called "Big Tech Bent the Knee for Trump in 2025," and I did want to do a piece, and I wanted Engadget to do a piece where we were like, "Hey, step back. What the hell happened this year?" Because it's kind of crazy. It is kind of crazy how every corporation, like every US corporation, but certainly big tech, And big tech includes, if you look at the list of top billionaires in the world, right? The richest people in the world, most of them are big tech CEOs from America. Um, they all immediately just started doing weird stuff to ingratiate themselves to the Trump administration. And if you think this is just me calling things out politically because I don't like Trump, like I guess say that if you want, except there's a lot of evidence here that this is weird. Individuals, companies donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration fund. Typically, if a company does anything, it's like 500,000 just to be nice to whoever it is. That's what they did for Biden and other leaders in the past. That freaking this is the one that I can't quite get out of my head. The freaking White House East Wing, whatever that's going to be, ballroom, projected to be $300 million. Trump and his team were immediately like, "Oh, this is all privately funded. We're not taking taxpayer money for this, even though you destroyed a taxpayers, state building." A lot of that money is coming from pretty much every single big tech company, and we don't know the exact amount that they're putting into it, but that is a clear handoff of, "Hey, we're going to pay for this thing." And we have seen time and time again that as these companies give things to the Trump administration, they get things in return. And that's where it gets really weird and very strange. It turns this country into more of a, I don't know, kleptocracy. Like just it is becoming more like Russia, where the sort of like oligarchs are paying the state to let them do whatever they want. And what a lot of companies get is a deregulated environment where they can do things like build more AI data centers. Um, it's mainly that. It's invest in things, go for acquisitions or mergers without much more regulatory approval. That's why the thing we talked about, the Netflix WB and Paramount fight, like that's really interesting because
We're
the
going to have an
administration,
update to that later on,
yeah, we
too.
are. But the Trump administration is really leaning on Paramount to win that, and Netflix is like no, and they also have not been friendly to Trump.
Well,
Here's what's
WB said no. That's the important
WB,
thing.
yeah.
But like
WB said no. Yeah.
the big issue here is that everything in the country has felt more pay for play. And
Mhm.
it was just exemplified in the last couple of days with earlier this year, OpenAI, Oracle, some of these big tech companies announced the Stargate program. Let's build huge data centers.
Mhm.
That was maybe not a direct payment to people in Washington, but it was like a big PR win. And then what did they get in return? Just a couple of days ago, an executive order making it more difficult for individual states to regulate AI. Now, whether or not that's going to end up going through, I'm not sure. I can only imagine that there might be some kind of injunction that will be filed, maybe in California or New York within the next week or so. But it's not just direct payments. It's also like, if you make us look good, we'll also help you out in a very naked way that I don't think we've
It's
seen in
yeah.
decades in the US.
Jimmy Carter had to sell his freaking peanut farm in Georgia. He left the White House practically penniless. He was in debt. Like that's how it used to be. There used to be a clear delineation between your business interests and working as the president and government stuff. And now it is not that way. So I'll point out a couple silly things too. Like the whole, we remember when Tim Cook gave Donald Trump a plaque, a gold plaque to, to,
Participation trophy,
to be a very
one of
nice
a
president.
few this year, because then
Of a few.
then FIFA gave Trump the first ever FIFA Peace Prize.
The FIFA Peace Prize. FIFA, nothing wrong with that organization. No corruption there, right? They can bestow that on anybody. And the one I don't want anybody to forget is Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, spent much of 2025 and actually a lot of 2024 pumping up Trump and pumping up Republican interests. The number is $277 million that he spent overall in 2024 to back the America PAC, which is his political action organization, which was all about like getting people to vote for Trump. There was a whole thing where he was like, "Hey, if you vote, if you sign this petition, also vote for Trump, you could win $1 million." And that was plainly against like election laws. Like that seems like a clear violation. And even There was a situation in Wisconsin where the Wisconsin Attorney General was like, "Hey, that's illegal. You cannot promise people money for a vote."
To bring it back to tech, there was
Yeah.
also just like squeezing harder and harder on X, FKA Twitter, the
Hmm.
idea of making the term cisgender a slur that could
Yes.
then be
All of that.
like get you banned on X.
Hmm.
Um, it's just way more of a playground for people that
Hmm.
Elon Musk agrees with. And there are still a good number of people who are like, actually, if you don't argue with these people all day online, that means they win.
Yeah.
Okay.
To complete what I was saying with the Wisconsin thing, though, like the Attorney General was like, "Hey, this is illegal," and then the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin was like, "Yeah, we hear you." Did nothing about it. And then the next day, Elon Musk gave two $1 million checks to the voters as part of that. They edited a video from one of those winners to specifically remove the portion said where she said she was paid to vote because that was a
Hmm.
clear election law breach right there. Uh, just it's been a disgusting year, and especially disgusting given what Elon Musk has done. So I don't want us to forget it because all these companies like
And Doge. Let's not
and
forget
Doge,
Doge.
Doge is all of it. Doge killing U.S. aid has basically potentially killed, could kill people who need that aid. So I think it's hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of people could die just because of that, and mostly children in poor countries.
So
Disgusting stuff.
Daniel Diaz in the chat has an interesting
Hmm.
point. They say, please discuss the DJI ban, also a questionable action of this administration.
Hmm.
Cherlynn has been talking about this
Yes. Yes.
for months now. It wasn't just a thing that the Trump administration did. It's the fact that DJI is a Chinese company. Cherlynn, do you have more to say about this?
I wasn't aware I had been talking about this for months.
I think
This
it's
is
mostly you had mentioned it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like you had said it like several times the last few times that you've
Mhm.
been on the show. So, and that was like
We were
months
talking about
ago.
TikTok. We
So,
were talking about the potential TikTok ban and why like that was like there was going to be a whole swath of Chinese companies, and we should talk more about that too because that's clearly messed up.
well, yeah, whether or not like the TikTok ban is xenophobia
Hmm.
or if it's part of a bigger thing of like, oh yeah, actually maybe like China being kind of an adversary of the US. Um it's complicated.
It's
But
well. First off, Sherlyn, do you have anything you want to mention about DJI? Because that is a good question, and it's a good
I
thing
think
to
it
be discussing. Yeah.
I think they're like clearly one of the leading drone companies, if not the leading drone company in
Mhm.
this country, and arguably the world. And so I wonder if that is part of the sort of decision making process, like like
in
not
a
just
protectionism sort of way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
thank you. Yes, and I it's not just that like they might be spying on a surveillance. Like you can say that about almost everything. I remember now what I have been saying for months might more be like, what about the Temus and the Sheins? Like what about those?
I
Look
think
at
it's all of that. Yeah.
And
uh,
honestly, the weird Trump tariffs and everything have basically killed like those apps, right? Because you can't just cheaply get stuff drop shipped from China anymore.
Yeah, the de
there's so
minimis
much.
exemption is gone, but also like things have gotten more expensive. Let's bring it back to tech.
Hmm.
Tech has gotten more expensive
Hmm.
because of the tariffs.
Yeah. Most
Yeah,
definitely. I mean,
I don't know the impact of tariffs on Temu and Shein specifically because I know there was a lot of fear earlier in the year and a
mhm,
lot of people were like maybe buying stuff ahead of the deadline and then the deadline kept moving and then afterwards they
mhm,
kept seeing like subsequent like
yeah,
invoices for levies owed. So like people it just doesn't seem very clear. It wasn't happening all at once that people
yeah.
were mass quitting Temu or Shein or that sort of
There
thing.
are
But
there are additional
yeah.
fees now, so you see
Right.
that when you make an order.
Right,
People
and then in
order.
general
Yeah.
and I mean, didn't Amazon also incur the wrath of the administration by, like, posting the tariff related like, the post-tariff and the pre-tariff prices, like, "This is how much it's impacting you." I will say, though, that I think there's a giant shift, away from this sort of fast consumerism and and fast fashion that is probably also contributing to the fall in popularity of these types of apps. And you're seeing Amazon and Walmart and Target get caught up in all of that, in addition to other things they've been doing like DEI. So it's not just one or two things. It's the economy is bad, we're not buying, and also y'all suck, and also tariffs,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's
It's
just like,
all the things, and yeah, you can look to big tech and all the prices rising too because of the insane, like whatever the hell they did to the economy, but also the stuff around diversity, inclusion, has been discussing to see
yeah.
every single tech company essentially just give up on that or erase it from their websites, just give up on pursuing that. There's a lot of things that have disappointed me this year, but basically to see these companies, especially ones that initially tried to claim some progressive ideals, I don't think Apple has fully repealed, like they're Apple, right? But they did give him a golden trophy for absolutely nothing. The fact that so many companies are trying to go back on that, the fact that schools are doing that too, so many disappointments this year. But anyway, that's my main thing. Go check out my piece about tech bending the knee to the Trump administration, because there's a lot of money in there and a lot of weird things, a lot of weird like government contracts where Amazon and Microsoft are giving the government billions of dollars worth of services in exchange for good things from the government eventually too. So it is absolutely gross. Cherlynn, any other trends or things you want to highlight? Yeah.
Um, man, it's there's so much to say this year. I by the way, if you're watching the stream and I look a little distracted, is because in the middle of all of this conversation in the last, let's see, 30 minutes, my flight was canceled, and then
Oh,
just 1 minute ago rebooked on a different flight. So I'm just like, whoa, there's a lot going on. But like, how terrible has air travel been this year? How
everything.
awful! Everything, every part of our lives, and we have, I don't want to say just 3 years left of this, because I think that would point to just one person or one administration. I think we have years left of this. I think we need to
Well,
work together
I
it's
to
mean,
figure
they
out how to
also
improve
rolled
things.
back the like Department of Transportation thing where you like get money if your airline messes up. Like that sucks too.
I think what you can fairly say though, Cherlynn, is like one administration has certainly messed things up for a long time, and yes, it's going to be
Right.
years
I
before.
want to be clear, right? When I say I don't want to point to just one administration,
Mhm.
I also want to acknowledge that like the administration before that has had made its own mistakes, right? And so some of these are trickle down effects, and then this current administration will see trickle down effects into whatever the next one is too. So like it's just everything.
Not the
People,
business
let's
air
just be
travel.
better.
Not that let's be better in general. Like
Yeah.
that's oh god, there's so many things. So I hear you, Cherlynn. Well, how about any media you want to highlight for us?
Yeah. All right. So this year has been a lot of like self work for me
Mhm.
on relationships, perception. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts about this stuff and reading a lot of books about this stuff. So I want to shout out so Devendra, the first
Mhm.
two might not be relevant to your interest, but the last one you might like. Okay.
Sure.
Podcasts I really listened a lot to this year were the Secure Love podcast by Julie Manano,
Hmm.
a really good one where she basically every season coaches a couple through their problems from the lens of relationship attachment. And you kind of like every episode is very difficult listening to people going through their stuff. Sometimes you really like one person, sometimes you really hate one person. When you're listening, it's like the TV show Couples Therapy, but I think the structure is very different and it's very intimate and you learn so much. Then I've listened to a bunch of other relationship related podcasts, but I've also been on a like a documentary podcast kick or like a true crime podcast kick. So I listened this year to Unicorn Girl, which is really good.
Hmm.
As well as like a bunch of other like BBC true crime doc series. And then finally, Devendra, have you heard of Case 63?
I think I have. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a great podcast. It's voice acted by Julianne Moore and
Mhm.
Oscar Isaacs, and it's just incredible. It's like one of the best things I've listened to this year. It came out 2-3 years ago, and I really hope the next season comes out soon. But it's such a great podcast. I really love it. So I think my general media trend or media like favorite things this year have been podcasts more than ever. Um,
Yay!
Right, and obviously the Engadget podcast is on there. But I just want to shout out these other ones. So, if it's just music has been a bit repetitive for me lately, I guess, and that's why I was like, what am I gonna pay Spotify for?
What are you gonna
Podcast.
do? Rosalia's album is
Oh,
fantastic.
okay.
So if you want to be
Um,
loud,
I wilt in shame when I think about my Spotify Wrapped this year, so I will not tell y'all. But I will say my Spotify Wrapped age was 60.
okay.
Nice.
Yeah, those are
Because
all
I
like
could
old
also see it
negotiations.
being like
10.
16. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, yeah.
It all works. Okay, so I know we're gonna hustle a bit for you, Cherlynn, but
Sure.
I want to highlight favorite media of the year for me as I go back and think about it is Andor season 2, a show that seems impossible that it even exists. That Disney gave what's his name the guy who created Rogue One and also wrote the Bourne
Not
series.
no.
No, Tony Gilroy, that's his name.
No.
But basically gave hundreds of millions of dollars to this idea
Can you
to make
restart that
a
one?
Star Wars show. Okay. It's wild that Disney gave Tony Gilroy hundreds of millions of dollars to produce this show in the Star Wars universe, which is very anti-Star Wars. There's no lightsabers, right? There's really no Jedi. There's only a hint of like Jedi influence, and at the heart, it's also a very pro-revolutionary, anti-fascist series. It seemed like much like One Battle After Another, it's like a piece of media that really resonates with the world today, as I think societies as a whole, not just America, are leading towards fascism and right wing ideals. Like Andor feels like a miracle. I binged that entire season in like a weekend to write the review for Engadget. So you can go check out that review and also go check out the show if you haven't yet. Andor is fantastic. If you gave it a chance and like it seems slow, I hear you. I think the first season you have to watch like 3 or 4 episodes to like really get the vibes. Andor season was basically 3 movies set in like 3-hour chunks. So do the first one, see where you're feeling about that. But Andor is fantastic. And yeah, anything else you guys want to highlight from 2025? I got a bunch of stuff, but I also want us to do some news while we're here.
I have like
Mhm.
I have so many articles I am like trying to write
Yeah.
before the end of the year for our site. I am one of like maybe 3 people still working through the rest of this year on our team.
While Sherlyn does that, I can vamp for time,
Yeah.
give
Oh,
her a
I
little
mean,
space. And Kevin says in the chat was like, I'm surprised that Ben didn't say something about ham radio. It's something that he'd be into. I
Yeah.
shit you not. I was hanging out with a radio ham just 2 weeks ago. Or no, last week. Last week. And this person was not 70 years old either. Like there are people who are into ham radio even now, but that is not my
The whole thing.
platform or other media pick. But it is similarly kind of esoteric. Everybody go check out Canopy.
Mm-hmm.
Canopy might have been my like streaming service of the year just because it seems like Netflix is going so in the direction of their own originals to the point where they're ignoring the possibility of like bringing in new studio movies, movies from other places into their catalog. Canopy doesn't make any of their own stuff, which means that they might put a little more effort into getting some of the newer, interesting, probably like marquee movies, but also they do a really good job with documentaries and smaller films. You can get Canopy through a lot of library systems. You can watch this for free.
Mm-hmm.
So go check that out. I've been watching a bunch of documentaries by Philip Weissman. I think I mentioned that as a pick like a long time ago. That is definitely an acquired taste, but this guy is like one of the best American documentarians of the 20th century.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think I could
Shout out.
find that on Netflix,
Good
but I
shout out for
can find it on Canopy.
Yeah. Also, good shout out for libraries in general. If you are like me, maybe feeling a bit sad about the state of the world, the thing we need to do is like figure out a way to live with each other and also support each other. And you know what's great? Libraries, free books, free
can I
media. You could check out all sorts of stuff. What's up, sir?
can I flex a little bit?
Go for
Yeah,
it.
flex.
Are you a library
I
volunteer now? I hope.
Well, so I no, I used to be a librarian, but I always had like my, Jersey library membership, and I
Mhm.
used to have a New York one. So they're all on my Libby. And then this year, literally like 3 weeks ago, I discovered something on Threads. There was a Singaporean person that posted, all Singaporeans, you have this like built-in library membership to the National Library of Singapore. All you need to do is activate it through our like national app. We have a national app, which
You have
is
a
really
national
good.
app. Yeah.
So then I did it, and I just now have access to even more books because I have yet another library membership this year. So that's my flex. Being a Singapore citizen gets me free library membership. Like, not that a library membership is like
But
it's not
it
free to
also
begin
it
with.
makes you feel like a part of your community too.
Right.
Like it
Right. I
roots
feel
you
cared
back.
for.
You feel
It's such a
cared for.
Benny. Yeah, it's a
It's
nice little Benny, better than a
that's a great
Stimmy.
that's a great humble brag, Cherlynn, that you
You're
also
welcome.
yeah, you're tied to a functional country right now.
Yes.
Incredible. I will
Yeah.
say for
Just
everybody else though, your local library needs your help. It needs you to visit, it needs you to go.
also your local public radio station, probably.
Probably too. But you know what? You can't bring your kids there to hang out, Ben.
Yeah.
So the great thing about libraries is if you have kids,
Yeah.
go. They have computers, they have toys, they have like whole setups. You need a
You,
meeting room to chat with your
yeah.
friends. You can book a room in a library. You can book a screening room. You can have a movie club or something. Use your library because those resources are there, and if you don't use them, they start to take them away. And also, if you've got some free time, volunteer at the library. Like this is I have gained much more. I've always loved librarians. Like I think it's a great job and a great way to like get people access to information. But especially right now, as the nature of reality is getting harder to like determine, it's the librarians out there fighting for real news and facts, and also to make that broadly accessible to people. So yeah,
I also like giving books as gifts. I visit
yes.
bookstores a lot, so there's also that. If you're still looking for gifts, some great ideas for gifts or books.
Mhm.
I was like kind of like a library, kind of if you close one eye and squint. Engadget's kind of like a library.
Well, this is
A library of great
Uh,
resources, right?
tech
it's a
reviews.
segue to all I want to say is I think I think Engadget, especially in the second half of the year, we've had a really great year. I think this December we had a very strong slate of stories grace our site. And I know we're not perfect as a publication, of course. We need to make money sometimes to have jobs,
Yeah.
but I have to say that like this year, especially this past few weeks, we've seen a lot of very strong and good stories go up. Devendra, your Big Tech One and your Copilot Plus look
Mhm.
at what Microsoft has been doing, and I know you're still working on some of for us, are part of like a year-end series of stories that our teams put together. Yours, Devendra, were great to read. Igor's Open AI,
Mhm.
House of Cards seems primed to collapse. It's a really great read as well. So I encourage you all to go to the homepage and tell us and give us any feedback, right? Like, what would you like to see more of? We'll have a lot more live blogs. Obviously, we'll have plenty of CES coverage coming up. Um,
Mhm.
what would you like to see less of? I
Yeah.
can't make any promises, but I want to hear what y'all think.
And
It's
also,
a lot of good info.
what form would people like stuff to take shape
Yeah.
in? Like long stories, short videos, long videos, live stream? Like it is always
You have a
a good resource.
surprising amount of control. All you need to do is tell us what you
Yes.
want.
Tell us, and also
In that way, we're kind of like a library.
get that sick engagement. But also something that we probably should do. And one of my favorite things, Sherlyn, is like when there is a story being harkening back to like, hey, this thing was released in 2005 or
Right.
something. And Gadget has been around since the
Oh my
year
gosh.
2005.
Yes.
And there is history like hey, the early posts very bloggy, sometimes hard to read. Like
Yeah.
the standards have changed in terms of like how we've written, but it
Yeah.
is actually very cool to go back and be like, hey, somebody did cover this, somebody did
Yeah.
review this weird asus epc in 2006 or 2007. I'm like, oh yeah, I did buy one of those way back then. So
I
one
love
thing
that
that would
one.
be cool actually is actually to build an Gadget library and just like highlight some of that old content, which is kind of fun to read.
That's a
So
good idea, Devendra. Let me look into
yeah,
it for
bring
2026.
back, revive some of our old things. Even though what's funny is that you'll find bylines from people, working and running other sites now. But that's the nature of media, baby. Your
Yeah.
byline will change all the time. So anyway, this was a good chat. We've got a lot of good stuff. Check out our best of 2025 list, our worst of 2025 list, our end of year stories, and yeah, we've got a lot of stuff. There's some deals. There's still deals happening. We've got gift guides. If anybody needs to pick up something quickly, stocking stuffers, whatever, check it all out. Let's move on to some news and quickly. A bunch of things, a bunch of big things happened this week. iRobot
Mm.
has filed for bankruptcy. It may be taken over by its primary supplier. If you'll remember, Amazon was initially trying to buy iRobot, and that whole deal kind of fell apart, which is a shame. This one kind of hit me because I do recall like when the Roomba first launched, and I was in college at the time. When I left college, like one of the first cool things I was able to buy for my apartment was like a little Roomba. And it was very dumb, but it did symbolize like, hey, we are one step to the Jetsons. Look at this little robot bounce around my walls and do a decent job of cleaning the floors. And since then, I've had multiple Roombas. I've covered iRobot. I've talked to the original founder and CEO. Like, it's a company that's kind of messy. A lot of their tech came from defense contract work. They built robots that would go into war zones and be used for military purposes. They eventually kind of took that, they separated that business and then did something just purely for consumers. And I think like they did do a good job of pioneering the whole robot cleaning market, which has now been taken over by everyone else, by a lot of Chinese companies, by a lot of like cheaper companies. They're
And one
probably
expensive company to add, Dyson's
and
also
Dyson.
getting in the space. Not a robot vac yet, but Dyson would
I
probably
thought they
make
had
one.
one. I thought they had like a little
They
stick
might.
robot vac.
I,
Yeah.
I only know them for their stick and hand vacs, you know?
I love the Dyson stick vacs.
They're
I
so
I love
good.
They're
That's the
them too.
so
thing.
expensive,
They
but they're
are.
really good. And I
They're a
love the
complicated
dirt
company.
laser,
I love
which
the
is
stick vac. I love the dirt laser. Why is this thing entirely made of plastic? Dysons are the weirdest devices, right? It's like I'm spending
Yeah.
so much money for a stick vac. This feels like a Fisher Price toy.
it does
And
freak me out
yeah,
because if I like leave it standing somewhere or if I want to lean it up against something, I know if it falls, it feels like it's just going to shatter.
yeah, they're not strong. I've had stuff like break the latches, the dirt bin latches anyway. But yeah, Dyson is one. Now we're seeing a ton of other cheaper RoboVacs, but it does kind of make me feel sad to see like iRobot like basically go down this path because I thought it was good. They just couldn't. I don't think they can fully compete with the cheaper offerings as much as I like the. I reviewed the i9 or i7 combo,
Yeah, I
which
remember that
one
article. Yeah.
it both wipes. Yeah, it wipes, mops your floor and vacuums, and also has a poop detector. And they pioneered poop detection. I even did a thing where, yeah, I shot a video of it like trying to head towards cat poop, and it did a good job of being like, no, thank you. It turned away. That's innovation. I don't know if you guys have any feelings about iRobot going away, but it
I
is.
mean, I'm just thinking about the tweet from a really, really long time ago about
Mhm.
how some guy's dog pooped in the middle of the floor, and then
Yes.
the RoboVac went and like did its cleaning, and the last
Yep.
sentence was, "Yes, it is everywhere."
Yep. That's that's the thing. Like the ideally, you would program your RoboVac every morning, every couple days, it just cleans your whole floor, right? Not really possible if you have pets because you have to do an eyeball sweep. You have to look around your entire house, make sure, okay, clear, no poop, no nothing. If you have kids, same thing. Throw up whatever messes on the floor. You don't want liquid messes like getting spread around by it. So I cannot wait till we have like, I don't know, intelligent robot vacuums that can better detect these things. But for now, the Roomba did a good job. And Dan Cooper, I want to point to his piece. He
I
wrote
was going to
called,
say,
yeah,
yeah.
what happened to iRobot can happen to anybody. Nobody's immune to knockoffs, bad decision making, and tariffs. And yes, they also faced a lot of heat and price increases from the tariffs as well. Did you read his piece, Cherlynn? Anything
Yes,
you
I
want to
edited
dive
it.
in? Yep, yep, yep.
And it was it makes a really good point, right? Like not barring setting aside the whole like who owns iRobot from here on out
Mhm,
question of like, ceding it more to like whatever country. Yeah, it's difficult to I asked Dan or I think it was his
mhm,
editor Nate as well in my read of the story. I was like, what there should be a point we're also making about what iRobot could have done, which is to make itself the Apple or the Dyson of their
mhm.
spaces, right? Like they make the
They did try
expensive
to do that.
product.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, they make the expensive product, but, and charge a premium, but for really good quality stuff,
Mhm.
right? And that has been Dyson's whole thing in the space of, like, hair products, hair appliances, and,
Yeah.
their Vacs and Apple with the iPhones and stuff. iRobot could have done that, but I think it branched out too far into trying to make affordable Roombas, and
Mhm.
maybe that's where it failed because you can't compete with the multitudes of Chinese clones out there in that space. So, that's the only thing I would add to the whole thing, but definitely gives
Yeah.
Dan's story a read.
I would say it's timing. It's like Sonos. You look at Sonos too, right?
Right,
Sonos has been
another
around
one, yeah.
forever, and Sonos has kept up. Okay, we're at high end. We're mostly
Yes.
high end. They have a couple things that are vaguely affordable now, but they've always pushed the high end. iRobot was in that high end category for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I think people giving them business advice back in like 2005, they were like, hey, your devices are great, but not many people can afford it. So you got to drive down costs. And this was long before the Chinese clones and everybody else appeared. But yeah, once Roborock and all these other folks like started building their own vacuums after 2010 or so, like that was the era where they really need to do something else. They
Yeah.
were slow to branch out into mopping. The Chinese companies actually did mopping first.
Yeah.
You can buy Chinese vacuums that hook directly into a water supply, so the base can always get fresh water to go mop around. Whereas
Mm.
right now with the iRobots, you have to manually do that. So there's just a lot of stuff where they kind of
They
they're
have
behind.
arms,
Yeah.
now
Oh,
to
the
climb.
arms.
Yeah.
Yes, some of them have arms. Some of them are trying to like walk upstairs and stuff now.
Yep.
Anyway, sad. I still use the combo Roomba, but I would definitely spend more time looking at the alternatives right now.
Yeah.
In other news, just to follow up what's going on with Warner Brothers Discovery and Netflix and everything, WBD has formally, well, the board has rejected Paramount's hostile bid. I believe we're still waiting for the shareholders. That it has to go to vote because that's what Paramount was doing, to basically steal away WBD from Netflix, which announced it was going to try to acquire WBD in an $82.7 billion deal. The Paramount deal was $108 billion. I believe the board, they're saying they do not. Let's look at the quote here. The board has unanimously determined that the tender offer launched by Paramount Skydance on December 8th, 2025 is not in the best interests of WBD and its shareholders and does not meet the criteria of a superior proposal. It seems like they are not comfortable with where the money is coming from, too. Paramount's offer was also funded by money from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and just a lot of places where it's like it's getting iffy when those places are getting money or giving money to U.S. Companies. So just a thing we're following. If you're interested in this, check out the latest episode of The Town, that great Ringer podcast and Puck podcast. Elizabeth Warren was on there talking about like the regulatory reasons why she's against Paramount doing it, also Netflix doing it. Like she doesn't want anybody to do this because for them, more mergers and more consolidation is not always good, and that's generally true. I also think WB is in a really tough place, so they're going to have to like separate if nobody buys them. It's going to be a whole big mess. Do you guys have any thoughts on this?
I just was thinking the other day I should buy some Netflix stock, even though I'm not supposed to, and I was not going to.
Yeah.
But like before this all happened, I was like,
Uh-huh.
"Ooh, if I were to give a tip to anyone right now, I'd be like,
Mhm.
I like the idea of Netflix stock, And then boom,
Boom. There have been so many of those moments, Cherlynn, where it's like I
I know.
should have mined some Bitcoin in 2009. Should have put some money in Nvidia.
We would all be rich and not be journalists right now.
Yeah, but
Did I
once
tell
do
you
that, yes,
guys
technically
that
journalists
when we
cannot
were
have
talking
a
ab-
We can't.
direct stock. You can
Yeah, we can't.
invest in like funds, which tie to
That's what I
collections of
do.
stocks, and
Yeah.
yeah, so you could do some of that. But anyway, big mess. In other news, the Oscars will air on YouTube exclusively starting in 2029. This is huge news because I think since they've been airing on TV, the Oscars have gone to ABC. That's been the tradition. It's kind of wonky because ABC is owned by Disney, and it's very strange that one of the studios is essentially the one hosting the major studio awards. So
Mm.
this is, in addition to like Netflix acquiring WB, this is very much an example of a tech company taking in something that was so crucial to old Hollywood. Personally,
Mhm.
I think this is
Mhm.
for the better because I remember it like every year when the Oscars are happening, I'm like, oh shit, where's my over the air antenna? Because it's not
The only time you need it.
anywhere. Yeah, the only time you need it. I don't subscribe to like any of the streaming TV services. That's the other way you can get to see it. But it's always been such a mess. Makes more
Yeah.
sense to put it right on YouTube. The Oscars has always been a very highly viewed telecast, although that number has been going down. I think by making it more open, they'll get more viewership. Also, younger audiences who view things in different ways. The Oscars has always been limited to a very specific time length because it had to be on TV. Maybe they can open that up. Maybe they don't have to rush everybody through all the speeches. And also, maybe
But
we'll finally get to
they're
see
not
the
going
award
to.
ceremonies for some of the other
Right. The lower, yeah.
yeah. like stuff that gets sent. People win genuine Oscars, but they're not
Yes.
in the primary show. So I think it's ultimately a good thing. That's just me. We also read about Ford taking a step back from its EVs. It's rebooting the F-150 Lightning as an E-Rev. It's still an electric car, but it uses a gas generator. We've seen some cars from China do this too, like hybrid cars that use a gas generator to pump into an electric motor. I think it's kind of disappointing because I think the F-150 Lightning is pretty great, but also there have been complaints about how Ford built that thing, how bad it's been in cold weather, and people really pushing it as a truck. It's been a problem for them. So there's all that. It's a shame, but hopefully they'll come back around to more pure EVs. And yeah, what else? What else? Look around Engadget. We've got more end of the year stories. I want to highlight one. Sam wrote about smart glasses. Smart glasses having a good run in 2025. I think that's really important. I think we really differ in our perspectives on smart glasses at this point, but we can talk more about that around CES, where I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll see more. Do you have any other picks you want people to jump to this year or this
I
week,
think
Ellen?
I think for sure go look at Igor's OpenAI story, which did well on its own, and then I like Carissa's age verification piece as
Yes.
well. One of the earlier ones that went up. I liked your co-pilot piece, Devindra, and we have some more coming up. We've got one about Apple. I think that one's going to be doing really well from Nate Ingram, and then just keep looking at Engadget. We've got some really wacky ones coming up
We've
too.
got wacky ones. It's
I
really
might be
we're a
doing.
little delirious.
Oh no! I might be burning some bridges in some upcoming ones. That's all I'm saying.
It's always fun to do that. I did write a piece once about Sony being like, when is Sony going to be a major tech titan again? And the next day, the Sony PR guy called me. He's like, "Hey, dude, why? Why did you write that?" I'm like, "Sorry, be better. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. You're being held afloat by PlayStation right now." Anyway, that's good
Yeah.
stuff. We've given you guys a lot of pop culture picks, so that's all. Anything you want to wrap the year with, Cherlynn, before we wind down this episode? Any
No, I'm
thoughts,
just
parting gifts?
reiterating what we said, which is I'm so thankful for everyone that's followed us the entire time Engadget's been around, but especially this year. And send us your feedback, podcast@engadget.com. We read those emails. Ask us questions, ask Engadget. We love to answer questions. I do that on the daily with my friends. And yeah, check us out at CES. And if you see us, say hi,
See us, say hi. Do you want to read the outro, Cherlynn?
Yes.
Old times?
All
Go
right.
for it.
For old time's sake. Well, that's it for this week's episode, everyone. Thank you as always for listening. Our theme music is by game composer Dale North. Our outro music is by our former managing editor, Terrence O'Brien. The podcast is produced by Ben Elman. You can find Devindra online at
Devindra and Blue Sky, and a podcast about TV and movies, The Filmcast at thefilmcast.com.
If you need me, these days I'm always ranting about the snow and other old person things on Threads, where I am at Cherlynstagram, CherlynnStagram. Email us your thoughts or feedback at podcast@engadget.com. Leave us a review, please, on iTunes, and subscribe wherever you get podcasts.
Thanks, folks. We're out.
Yay!
Yay! Right at
Yay! Oh my
11:45 again.
gosh.
Can you two
Thanks,
hear me now?
everyone.
Good.
I
can.
think we could always hear you, and I was
Yeah.
just trying to
Oh,
focus
okay.
in
You
on
were
what
just ignoring me. That's fine.
Sorry, I was just
No,
trying
it's
to
okay.
focus
It's
on
okay.
Dev's
It's just
train of thought.
I was wondering, and I was like, oh, is something messed up? Because I was hearing a little bit of like packet loss on my side,
Mm.
and I was like, did something get messed up? Somebody in the
No.
chat was like, I don't think they can hear Ben. No,
You're
it's
right.
totally okay to ignore the producer.
I did
It's
not
just
hear you at some point. So
oh well, whatever. At least things work
Whatever.
now.
It worked.
Figured it
It's
out.
great. All right. Drop your audio, Cherlynn. Thank you so
Yes.
much for joining. I will see you at CES.
I miss everybody. I'll say
Later,
hi to
bye.
everybody next time. Bye.
All right, chat. Bye. Chat, we will take a little break. We'll chat with you all. We'll catch up, and then we're going to do a CES 2026 preview.
Finding the
Get
bye
the
button.
stream going. Okay, let me see. Anything you want to highlight from the chat, Ben? No CS Samsung soundbar news. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Something
no, I was
get-
literally about to mention that, or
Okay.
maybe we can. I don't know. I can mention that in like the next episode that we're about to do.
We're about to do a whole other episode, but let's take a little break with the audience.
Rev Rogers says Ben is at the kids' table this morning.
Ben is at the kids' table. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm sorry. Happy holiday, folks. Oh, Computer Games Hardware says, hope Saints bring you RAM. Oh man, RAM would be the ultimate stocking stuffer for anybody right now. I was thinking like, apparently I have 4 sticks of DDR5 in this computer, and it's not getting the timing isn't as fast as I'd like. I was like, okay, maybe I should just get two sticks to get to 64 gigabytes. Not gonna happen this year. Nope. I think I'll just have to live with 32 gigabytes like a schmuck. And
It was really surprising to me when my partner got a new job and they got like a new computer. They work in like customer success sort of stuff
mhm.
at a tech company. Not one of the big tech companies, not a tech company that we're likely to cover, so like that's a good thing. Um but it was crazy that they just sent a like I don't know M3 Pro MacBook Pro with 64 gigs of RAM. Like
It's insane.
you, that's fishing with dynamite. You
That's
do not need that much RAM for a
But also
position
the
like this,
IT
but they
department
did
is
it.
cooking. I think like some IT departments are like, look what I can get away with. Like, look how crazy I can spec this up. Because also they have to use their budgets,
Yeah,
or they
yeah,
lose
yeah.
money entirely. So it's a whole thing. All
I
right, I'm
think
gonna
it
run to
might
the bathroom real
also.
quick. Mhm.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna run to the bathroom.
I'm gonna
All
run to
right,
the
I'll
bathroom.
vamp with
Chat with
the
yeah.
chat. Yeah, everybody, with me. Everybody,
I'll
talk
be
to
right back.
me.
I'll be right back.
Mo Esquire says, same. Here's hoping Santa is stronger than the Ram apocalypse. Cherlynn, still in the chat, says Rammy Christmas. DPro9 says, don't be a stranger, Cherlynn. Yes, I really hope that she isn't a stranger coming into like the new year. But again, she is important now. It's a good and bad thing. Actually, let me solo my view because it's the Ben show for the next like 3 minutes. If anybody wants to talk directly to me, man, I wish I could just like pull up Subway Surfers or something for a second. Man, maybe I can. I'm not. Oh yeah, I don't want to mess things up. We have another 20 or so minutes of stream left. But if anybody wants to say anything directly to me, Ben has gone from the kids' table to head of the table. Go, Ben. Yes, thank you, Rev Rogers. Oh, wait. I don't know what changed in the last couple of weeks, but Rev Rogers, what was your old username? Because like I noticed that when I was chatting, all of a sudden it was not my like chosen display name, but it was more of a like handle that was like generated for me by YouTube. It's like Ben Elman, whatever, 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 some numbers. Um, Rev Rogers, I recognize the profile picture, but I don't quite recognize the name. Tom Rogers, yeah, there we go. Okay, so I don't know what's up with it. Like things have changed around a little bit, but I hear Devindra back. So
I'm back. I'm back, baby.
all right, let's just jump into CES
Share the grass,
previews
Ben, real
because
quick. This is your chance. Kevin says is asking how many other podcasts you make. Where
oh
else can we find
man,
Ben?
how many other podcasts do I make? For the last like couple of years, I've also done a little bit of work for the New York specific news blog called Hellgate. The Hellgate podcast right now is not produced by me, but if you go back and like listen to some other stuff that's produced, that's something that I'm doing. I also produce this one thing for a Substack like media venture. It's for people over 55, 60 years old. It's by this guy who was a big magazine editor in the 80s and 90s. It's called The Happy Grown Up. If you follow me on Blue Sky, I tweet about all of this stuff. I do Blue Sky tweets. I will never call them skeets.
They're skates. We gotta be. It's not a tweet. That's Twitter. That's Twitter talk.
Yes, no, it could be a Blue Sky. Yes, it's a sky tweet, a skeet, whatever.
Skeet.
Um, yeah, so like the cool thing about working with a guy who was big in magazines, especially in New York City, is that he just gets really good guests. Like the woman who wrote the screenplays and the original book, as they call it. The non-sung parts of a musical.
Hmm.
This woman, Winnie Holtzman, wrote the book for Wicked, and then also the musical or the screenplay for the movie musical recently. That's cool. Had um, um, a bunch of other like Broadway directors on, and who was in Do the Right Thing, Devendra?
Everybody was
She's
in
Rosie Perez.
Rosie
That's
Perez. Rosie
That's
Perez.
who had Rosie Perez on this
Oh,
year.
fun.
So, yeah, Rosie Perez is a delightful
I
person.
love her. One of my favorite New Yorkers. Yeah. And also Do the Right Thing. Such a perfect movie. Yeah.
Okay, let's get
Oh,
back to CES.
CES, we'll do a CES preview, folks. Mo Esquire's asking, can we run a RAM giveaway contest? There was no RAM to give away. The RAM has disappeared.
Well, also, you got to think about how this is going to be coming out of Engadget's budget. And, like, yeah, you might do a RAM giveaway contest when it was like, what was it before? 60 a stick, 100 a stick, depending on like how advanced it was.
Well, no, for a giveaway, ideally, a giveaway comes from the company. It's like, hey, we've got promo products. Would you like to share these promo products? Because it's
Well, yeah, but then
advertising
that
for
goes
them.
against the journalism standards.
No, it's a whole thing because then it's advertising for them, but also like it's a virtuous circle of promotion or something. We actually did used to do giveaways like that when we had leftover products and stuff like that. So legally, it's a whole mess. There's a whole thing that gets involved there. Anyway, drop us your CS questions, folks. I'm gonna move into this because I have a couple. It's basically just a few topics right now because we know what CS is. I'm going to re-intro this episode so Ben can edit it all together. Sit tight, and yes, so we'll do some.
Wait, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm editing this together. This is an entirely new episode, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I think you're
Yeah, let's go.
literally. I think you're taking that turn literally.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Let's go.
it's okay. Ben is going to be editing all of this. This stream will turn into magically 2 episodes with the magic of editing. Let me find our CS preview here. Okay. All right, let's go in 3, 2, 1. What's up, Internet? Welcome back to the Engadget Podcast. And I'm Senior Editor Devendra Hardawar. This is our CES 2026 preview. Joining me for it is podcast producer Ben Elman. Hey, Ben.
Once again, not going to CES, but I'm holding down the fort at home and getting everybody's audio from the show floor.
Which is, frankly, probably a much better CES experience, Ben. I'm not a fan of Vegas. I'm not a fan of like doing this, but it is cool to see the tech in person, and I think that's the main draw. So we're going to be talking about all the stuff we expect to see at CES 2026. I guess when you're seeing this in a couple days. So this episode is going up January 2nd. It's going 2026. Wild to imagine because we're recording it December 18th. So if anything major happens between December 18th, 2025, and when you hear this episode, we cannot account for it. Sorry. But yeah, we're going to dive into some of the things we're expecting from the show this year. As always, if you're enjoying this podcast, please be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes. Drop us an email at podcastinggadget.com. And, we do live streams. We'll do a live stream like once CES is over. We'll do it typically around Thursday mornings at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Join us then, and we'll have some stuff from CES too. So go, watch our social channels, check out our TikToks and all that fun stuff. We're going to drop a lot of stuff out of CES. So it's going to be another year at CES, and I feel like we know what this show is, right? It is TVs. It is a lot of new computer tech. That's basically the whole thing. Smart glasses is the main trend, one of the main trends from 2025 leading into 2026. So we're going to see a lot about that. I think that's it, right? We get some transportation stuff. We don't see as many cars at CES as we used to. We're not going to see as many huge keynotes as we used to. I believe Lenovo is the one doing the keynote in the Sphere this year. They are, I believe, the top PC shipper. The company shipping the most PCs these days, so I guess that makes sense. But it's
Devendra, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But is it that the pandemic lockdown and the fact that CES was canceled and or diminished for a couple of years just broke the consensus of everybody do everything right there, and like Samsung and like all these other companies realized, hey, we can get like huge like pops of PR by just doing our own Apple style announcements and not getting lost in like the noise of a big tech show.
The pandemic certainly did that, but Samsung also, I think, even before the pandemic, was like doing stuff after,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like a couple weeks after, just to like own their own space. So all these
Mm-hmm.
companies are really worried about who's paying attention to them, right? Like, is their marketing actually being going to be useful? And it turns out launching something in the middle of CS, there's good and bad to it, right? It is a crowded event. There's a ton of news happening. You may not get that isolated attention you want from audiences and the press. If you do something on your own, you get that. And actually, it's probably going to be cheaper to produce, especially if it's a virtual launch event or launch stream or something. So I think that's what a lot of companies saw. And Samsung reoriented around that pretty well. I think CS is getting back to where it was. A lot of sites, like last year, most people from Engadget went. We spent 20, basically the couple years before that, like with a really diminished team on the ground. But I think things are back to normal. At the very least, the pandemic proved that you got to wear that mask, at least at CES. You got to wash your hands all the time. I think it was around like 2015 after I'd gone to CS a couple years. I was like, you know what? I'm not shaking hands. I'm not shaking hands at this show. And I didn't get sick at CS since then. So that was a big thing. You know,
Okay, yes, hand washing
yeah,
is technically technology, but let's talk about real
it is
technology. Let's
all
talk
the
about the
time.
TVs.
Let's talk about the TVs. And I think the big thing we're going to be hearing about, and it's stuff we've already seen because LG has already rolled out its technology. I believe we'll see some announcements from Sony and others, but micro RGB is going to be the big new thing coming. It has more colors and better dimming than a regular LED backlit LCD TV. It's kind of an evolution of micro LED. And micro LED was interesting because, or no, it's kind of not micro LED, mini LED, and it's kind of cool because we have a good description of it here from Engadget from Anna Washenko. Micro RGB is a newer screen technology where rather than white lights, the backlight can be any hue thanks to individually controlled red, green, and blue micro LEDs, offering a wider color array. This approach is a midway point between the precision of OLED with its individual pixel lighting, but it offers an upgrade over screens only using mini LEDs. Now, we've talked about mini LEDs before, and I've really liked mini LED TVs because they've generally been cheaper than OLEDs. They can get brighter than OLEDs. And the whole thing about them is that they have a lot of backlighting zones, which allows them to be a little more precise about brightness and darkness and things like that. So they don't look as great as an OLED overall, but it's close. And they work really well in bright rooms, and a lot of OLEDs don't because they don't get super bright. So we see this technology from LG. Sony has already announced that it's having its own version of it coming. Basically, slightly better mini LEDs with new, more color accurate stuff, maybe brighter screens. This is where it gets confusing because this is not related to micro LEDs. Micro LEDs is like a whole other technology, and I believe that's the thing that's going to be coming after OLED.
I am the one who's most confused about all of this because
Yes.
it's been several CESs in a row where we're going from micro LED, QLED, OLED. Like I know OLED, but like it seems like
No,
every
QLED is
year.
nothing. QLED is
What's that?
nothing.
Okay.
QLED is nothing. Like it's quantum dots on top of old school LED screens. So you don't
I
have
mean, that was the new hotness like a couple of years ago, but I guess now we know
10
more.
years ago. Yeah, yeah.
Um, so
Hmm.
what would you purchase now?
I mean, don't buy a TV right now. Black Friday was the time to buy a TV. So it is a
Yeah.
couple of weeks before, unless you see like an incredible deal. OLED is still the best if you can get, especially one of the new QD OLEDs, which have the quantum dot layer, which help with color reproduction and stuff. QD OLED is like top of the line of what you can get for OLED right now. Mini LED TVs are everywhere. They're also often going on sale. Those look really good, and you get more bang for your buck with mini LED. But I have to say, I have an OLED TV from 2016, which ended up in my bedroom because we have nowhere else to put it. And I still sometimes stop and just look at that screen and be like, man, look at that contrast. Look at that color reproduction. Like, and also because of the way OLED screens work, like it's almost as if the content is painted directly on the screen. Whereas with mini LEDs and LED TVs, like there's layers, like there's layers of glass between. It doesn't feel as immediate. So OLED has always been kind of an incredible technology. We always had to work
OLED is
for
something that I
yeah.
still covet, but right now I'm thinking about like getting some kind of screen setup or some kind of media viewing setup for my bedroom. The way that my bedroom is set up, the only thing that really makes sense, like there's a possibility that I could put it audio listeners can't understand, but I'm pointing toward a great white expanse behind me. What I would rather do is I would rather put posters back here,
Yeah.
both for being like an interesting Zoom and video call background, and also not to have just like a big black square instead
Mhm.
of this great white expanse. So the other big possibility for having being able to watch something would be like right by my bed. I don't like the idea of having like a big black
Mhm.
rectangle though. So now I'm thinking about projectors.
Projectors.
Any projectors at CES or
There likely will be. We haven't seen any in our preview piece, but CS is a good time to debut projectors. Usually, Sony will show off its latest ultra short throw technology. Samsung has had a whole bunch of projectors. Anker has also been doing like some great portable projectors. You may want to look at some of the Anker stuff, Ben. Like, some of them are like small, like the size of like a soda can, and it's not going to be the best image of the world. But if you just want to veg and watch a TV show in bed, like it may be fine. But if you step up a bit and you have like blank wall space,
oh, I've
then
got
you
so
can,
much blank wall space.
then you can start. Then you can cook. Then you can start cooking. Like maybe you could project right onto the wall, but also you could eventually get like a rolly screen or a screen like that just you mount on the wall that gets you better brightness, like better color bouncing and stuff
You
like
know,
that.
there's like a specific kind of paint that you can
They
use
say that. They say that. It's
for
walls
projectors
are
too.
not flat. I'm gonna put this out there.
Yeah, it's true.
Walls are rarely, especially walls in New York apartment buildings,
Hmm.
they're never fully flush, they're never fully flat. So there are weird deformities you see when you project right onto a wall. If
Hmm.
it doesn't matter to you, then not a huge deal. But most often you are better off just putting the money you would spend painting that wall to just get like a dedicated screen. Just like get a
Mm.
screen
Mm.
or hang a sheet or something that is a reflective material rather than the wall, which will never be flat. But I like projectors. Steve Dent wrote a piece about why 2025 was a good year for projectors and why we're still paying attention to them. Yeah.
So then we have the like inevitability that the PC industry is going to be hurting because of
Mhm.
RAM prices. But we also talked about this with Will Smith a couple of weeks ago about how the big PC makers have already put in their orders. So it's not a question of whether or not the new like Dell laptops this year are going to be able to you can spec them out with all the RAM you want. It's how expensive that end price is going to be, right?
Yes, that's absolutely it. And I will say, I've talked to a couple big PC companies, and nobody is talking about RAM right now. As soon as I bring it up, they're like, that's the scarlet letter. That's the thing we will never refer to, basically. Like it is right now, they have nothing to say about how they will price RAM, how they're thinking about RAM. I think that's going to be a big thing going into CS and into 2026, really, because not only are we dealing with tariffs and stuff for electronics, but RAM is everywhere. It's going to be powering computers. RAM is in SSDs, as Will Smith had mentioned. So we could see storage prices rising as part of that too. Um, it's going to be a huge deal. We don't know exactly how big, and we don't know. Maybe the RAM suppliers can like crank up production, but it really takes a long time because it's only a handful of companies making RAM. Maybe there will be some sort of solution by 2026, but it doesn't seem like it. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird time we're going into, especially in an event where I think they're trying to really highlight like what the best of what the tech world can do. they're going in really in a weak space because we don't know what's going to be happening with RAM. Yeah, it's a weird thing. One thing we saw a lot of last year was also AI PCs, and I was going to mention like 2025, not really the year of AI PCs as they thought it was. Go read my piece about Copilot AI PCs and why that whole thing kind of fizzled. It's weird because everything is kind of becoming an AI PC because Intel and AMD's chips and Apple's chips have the MPUs, they have onboard processing for AI. It's just that the killer features that they have been promising are not here. Windows Recall, Microsoft Recall is not that great. It is out on some computers if you have it. It's cool that you can go back in time and see what was on your screen last week or whatever, but I have not found that database to be really useful. They have launched some Copilot voice control features, which sometimes tap into the MPU. Those
Did you
don't work
see
very
this
well.
headline? I'm seeing it on Yahoo Tech
Uh huh.
plugin for the parent company, but it's a extreme tech like syndication thing on Yahoo Tech that says Microsoft scales back AI goals because almost nobody is using
Yep.
Copilot. And it
Yep.
mentions that in some cases, Microsoft has cut its sales goals by 50%
Mhm.
because of how few people are using agentic AI in big quotation marks.
Yeah. Exactly what we've been saying for the past year. Um,
Also,
yeah.
the idea of agentic AI is not here yet. It's something that they are cooking toward. I think we all know what an AI agent could possibly be,
Mhm.
if especially if you're a sci-fi fan, but we are so far away from it.
They need to stop like announcing things before they're fully cooked. Like that's what got Apple in so much trouble. Um, People are really pissed off about the idea of Windows becoming an agentic AI system because a lot of that means your computer will essentially become non-deterministic, right? It's going to start doing things on its own. They've highlighted some previews where they've said like they will eventually test something where you could send the Copilot agent to go do a job for you while you do other stuff on your computer. I don't know if I could trust that. And in their own warnings for agentic stuff in Windows, Microsoft was like, "Hey, by the way, this thing could install malware on your system, so just FYI, be careful." You're the one giving me the feature. You're the one launching this. Don't warn me about a bad thing it can do because you have not solved that potential vulnerability. Like, don't release the product at that point. I don't think they've learned yet. I've talked to a couple of reps from major PC companies, Ben, who are seething about what Microsoft is doing because they love computers. They love like being able to like set up their OS to do exactly what they want. And this AI stuff, we don't know. We There's a lot of things we don't know. Like, will it change your settings? Will it like when you send it to go do a task? Will it do something else in your system when you open up those permissions? We don't know.
So
Not
what you're
so
saying
much
is
for
that these
PCs.
folks are the sort who really like being able to set up a PC to do exactly what they want,
Yes. Yes.
and Microsoft doing this takes more power out of the hands of a user who actually knows what they're doing,
Mhm.
which I don't know, could push more people toward Linux. The year of Linux has always been
Let's
coming up. It
let's
could
hope
be
that for.
2026.
Yeah, go check out Will and Brad Made a Tech Pod, by the way, because I love their conversations. But as Will Smith told us, like he is really into Linux right now. One thing I've noticed about myself is that I am actually not super. I'm not like hardcore about what I'm doing in my operating systems. It's just I want it to work. I want to understand the file structures. I want to understand drivers. I don't want the drivers to crash. I have lived through the horrors of Windows 95, of Windows 3.1, of Windows XP. I was in IT during the Windows XP era, and like I would just walk around campus with a boot disk and a Windows repair disk because I would just like run into things and like, okay, I guess I got to reinstall this computer. I guess I have to boot Windows XP into safe mode and run this file command every single day. It was a nightmare. So Windows 11, there are a lot of there are potential issues with it. I don't like the way they've like pushed people out of Windows 10, but for the most part, Windows 11 just works and it doesn't bother me, right? But as they start to push in this the agentic AI stuff, I don't know. I'm not going to feel too good about that personally. I won't use those features. I think that's the main way I'll be thinking about it. But it's not like I don't know if I'll gain much by going to Linux personally. But I guess the future of what the PC industry decides to do determines all of this too. And also,
I've
like,
been
we can
thinking
push
about this
word
for
of
the
mouth.
last few
Yeah.
weeks, and I want to like throw this out since
Mhm.
this is the first episode of 2026. We can make like a little prediction. If anybody says in 2026 that the that year had been the year of Linux,
Mhm.
it might be because the Steam machine did well. And it's the idea of like so many people are using Linux, but like let's be real, not everyone knows that they're really using Linux. They're just using this cool new thing that lets you use all your Steam games, and
Well,
it happens to be running Linux.
that's where it gets tricky, right? Because if you buy a Steam Deck, eventually you will find a reason to boot that into desktop mode to install something or whatever. And at that point, you're in Linux, baby. That's a Linux desktop. It's Linux commands you're running, a Linux file structure. Like, so even the people who get the Steam machines, it's not like an Xbox, Ben, where it's like it's all like in the background and you never see it. You're always one button away from the pure Linux environment in the Steam machines. Like, that's the ideal of having a fully open machine, and that could point more people to be like, I'm gonna dabble around this desktop. I'm gonna hack a way to get this app working, which is not officially supported in Steam, which is how people got shortcuts to stuff like Xbox Cloud streaming going on the Steam Deck early on. So it is weird. It could end up being the year of Linux. I would argue the whole push towards Android, which is based on the Linux kernel, that got people into Linux. They never have to touch Linux, but it's kind of there. Mac OS has a lot of like command stuff you could be doing that makes it feel like a Linux system too. I think how I'm feeling is like if Microsoft keeps stirring this up, it's like it's up to Apple to have like the one good remaining consumer OS, assuming they don't screw that up with AI. Hopefully they don't. It's a weird situation we're in. While we're on this topic, we're definitely going to see more AI PCs talked about at CES. And the thing, like I've been saying, everything is becoming an AI PC. We're going to get new chips from AMD and Intel. We'll likely see some new hardware from Nvidia, although I think the rumors are they delayed the super cards that they were planning to introduce. So AI capabilities will be here. We don't know when the AI features will be truly useful and functional. I'll tell you guys how I use AI today, right? Like I will occasionally search something in Copilot just to be like, can you compile a table of this? Let me double check this thing real quick before I go double check those specs. I use it in that fashion, but I use the script a lot to transcribe things. And if I was only using my Mac, I could use Mac Whisper to do that. I could use onboard local things. We're going to see more PC things that could do that sort of decoding on board. I love when I'm in talking with somebody and taking notes, like to have live transcription going too. That could be powered by AI and NPU stuff. Um, Evernote has added that when you like record stuff within Evernote, it doesn't use your NPU there. We have a weird mix of devices using cloud-based AI execution and stuff happening on device. That's why Microsoft is like everything is an AI PC now. Every Windows 11 PC is an AI PC. Even they're like going back from the AI stuff. So you won't hear people really championing the term AI PC, I think, at CES, but it's going to happen eventually because the hardware is just getting better. It is worrying. I think everyone's a little worried and everyone's kind of pissed off at Microsoft about pushing this stuff into Windows and not fully thinking about like the implications of it. So that's the main thing I'm seeing. I don't know. How do you feel about AI PCs at this point, Ben?
We're not saying anything new.
Yeah.
We're saying it's another Clippy. We're saying that like it's not super useful. I don't know if I have anything to say about AI specific PCs
Are you
because the way
using
that
AI features yet? Like you
oh
have access
like
to things. Mhm.
unquestionably, I use Mac Whisper all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
I feel like I'm gonna come back to another one of my hobby horses, which is that if you interact with like an AI system in the next 12 months or so, and you're not one of those people who like asks ChatGPT about anything and everything,
Hmm.
no judgment in that specific statement,
Hmm.
it's probably going to be because maybe Siri got smarter at some point, or Alexa got smarter, or somebody released a car with a smarter voice assistant that allows you to like do more things. That's the sort of thing that LLMs are good at right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great thing to do. It's just really weird to me that so much of the development brain power is going toward making some kind of pie in the sky. We can do absolutely everything with AI, when like all of the researchers say, hey, LLMs are good at like a few specific things. Why aren't we developing toward these few specific things? So I'm going to keep on using them for the things that they're best at. I'm going to keep on using it for transcription. A few days ago, I wanted to learn how to format some kind of spreadsheet, because sometimes I have to do like dumb spreadsheet work. So I asked ChatGPT, hey, can you like build me a prompt
Yeah.
that allows me to do this spreadsheet thing that I want to do? It's also low stakes. So it's literally just filling a bunch of a bunch of cells in a certain way. And it was able to do that really well. I didn't have to go searching through multiple websites. I didn't have to watch 10 YouTube videos. That's exactly what ChatGPT is best at doing. Finding me code and also helping me get directly to the knowledge rather than having to scrape it together myself. However good it might be for my brain to do that.
Yep.
A thing that I would not do, and I would not trust an AI PC to help me with, is I've always wanted to get around TurboTax. And so for the last several years, I've been homebrewing a spreadsheet that helps me tabulate my taxes, especially because I do quarterly taxes as a freelancer. I would not let a AI PC just make something for me. Or
Yep.
if I did, I would then take it to one of my friends who's very smart at Excel and have them tear it down to the studs and make sure that everything is sound, because that is the sort of thing that's making financial decisions or helping me make financial decisions, versus just like some little thing where I needed to get a bunch of cells to fill out in a certain
Yeah.
way.
Low stakes is key. I think low stakes is absolutely key. I actually have done that recently too with Copilot. It's just like, hey, I need a spreadsheet to fill out this kind of data. How should I format this thing, just to give me an idea? And that's cool to have like a thing that you can bounce stuff like that off of and gets you back something. I like to treat them like a little minion. Like, minion, fetch me this.
Mm-hmm.
How does this work? Okay, great. Go away, minion. Don't talk to me anymore.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
chat, Tom Rogers says, exactly, low stakes is where it should be. In my master's program, I used a chatbot to find references and give me footnotes. I go back and check it.
That's
Precisely. If you put in like a bunch of books and you say, please like put this in MLA or APA or whatever formatting, that's a perfect use of AI. Don't use AI to write your paper. You don't learn anything. We have to get to other stuff. Let's just imagine that I did a good segue to smart glasses. Tell me more about smart glasses.
Speaking of things that are kind of troubling and also shiny new tech, like the tech world is getting desperate. I feel like they're like, I don't know, what's new? AI PCs, AI, everything AI, right? AI on your eyes, AI eyes, smart glasses. That's what they're doing essentially. Like,
I wouldn't call this a desperation thing. I would also call it like, I don't know, they're just they're doing stuff.
they're doing
I
stuff.
don't remember if it was this year or late last year when people were all saying like they're just in the arena trying things.
Yeah.
But like I'm in support of this. I want to make sure that this show is not like, it is tech critical, but it is not like everything sucks. So yeah,
not
show
so
me the
much
smart
sucks.
glasses. Especially if you can promise me that the smart glasses aren't just going to beam ads directly to my eyes. But I know that you
promise you
can't.
that, Ben. They can't promise you that. So back to everything sucking. these are AI devices, like specifically the things I'm talking about, like what Meta is planning to do. The Meta Ray-Ban displays right now, the glasses that are out right now that have like a display in a single eye. You could talk to the Meta Assistant or whatever. They're relying on AI processing in the cloud for everything, for a language translation, for whatever. They're taking the data and building stuff off of it too, which adds to your meta advertising profile or whatever. So we're going to see a lot of smart glasses at CES, and certainly like the companies building technology for smart glasses. The real question I think we need to keep asking is to what end? And smart glasses as an AI device is not something I can really get behind. Have you noticed like how people are getting really mad about even people even wearing the Ray-Ban glasses right now that have the cameras in them?
Oh yeah, yeah.
People are saying no, thank you. Like it's getting at
I
times.
mentioned that I like
Mhm.
almost became one of those glass holes recently, right?
Uh-huh. No, I didn't.
Like
I didn't
I
hear that.
got really close to it because I would go to the park and I would just like I had like these bubble wands and I noticed that people really loved
Mhm,
seeing the bubbles from the bubble wands. And I was like,
mhm.
unfortunately, the internet in my brain says this is great content. Like, what if I was just wearing Meta smart glasses or something and like took videos and like edited those into something,
Yeah,
and there has been a huge backlash to that. People doing restaurant reviews and not telling the restaurant workers that
yeah,
they're being recorded. Like, I'm very happy that I took a pause on that
yes.
and then didn't end up doing it because I very easily could have ended up as one of those people.
I mean, it's on the again seems cool on the surface. Let Meta try out some things, but to what end is Meta doing this with the Ray Bans? It's because they want a world where you're always producing content, and also you're always talking to the Meta assistant, and also people are always surveilled in a way too. And I've seen instances where bars and some clubs are like not letting people in who are wearing those things visibly, right? And it's really hard to be like, hey man, it's off. I'm not going to be recording, because you could just put a little piece of tape over the LED indicator.
You can put a little
Yeah,
piece of tape on it. I saw a thing in 404 Media that you could buy like a $15 thing that like lets you get around the recording light.
yeah. Deepro9, our resident AI fan in the chat, by the way, says they will get over it. Do it, Ben. Awesome Luddites. Cameras already everywhere. Why aren't you allowed to have your personal perspective of the event that happened when it goes down? You are. You could do that right now. You have to take out your phone and do that. The thing that these glasses are, and that have been made illegal in many different places, is spy glasses. They are
Mm.
replacing the spy glasses, which if you have a camera and you walk into a Disney bathroom at a Disney park or something, somebody can complain about that and get you banned from Disney for a life, because there are freaking perverts out there doing gross stuff. So putting it right on your face is just makes it a little more convenient. So that's essentially what this upgraded technology is. It's not about Ludditry, and the Luddites were not wrong either. The Luddites were complaining about machines coming in and basically devaluing their labor. Like they
I,
had a
I think
point.
we
Yeah,
actually need to
yeah,
recontextualize John Henry as
yes,
a Luddite folktale
yeah.
because I'd only put that together like in the last 6 weeks.
Hmm.
I'm surprised that it took
Yeah,
me that long.
yep. Deeper9 once again responds, says, we already have cameras in our pockets. Call our phones. Just take the phone out and film things. Your glasses don't need to be filming. You already have a phone in your pockets. Um, What do you do when you take out your phone to film something? It is an action that tells everybody around you, hey, I'm filming. Something is happening right now. The thing that is insidious about the Ray-Ban meta displays and all these glasses is that you could just be sitting right there filming and nobody is aware. And then imagine as a society, that is what everyone is doing at all time, because we're kind of starting to see that right now too. People just pulling out their phones to record weird interactions for social media clout or whatever, to get a restaurant worker in trouble. Like all sorts of things have been happening. We need to think about how we use these things. Like,
But we are getting off topic a little bit.
yeah,
Let's focus on the new. Like, what can we
let's
say about the smart
we
glasses?
can focus on the new, but this is the overall topic. Like what is happening in smart glasses is crazy and something we need to be thinking about. So you need to think about how technology is used and how it's being employed in people's lives. What is the
But what
new?
stuff is going to be happening at
We don't
CES?
know.
What can we?
We don't know,
Okay.
man. We don't know. This is a preview.
All
What
right,
we
so
know
we
is
can
somebody will
say
announce it at this
generally yes, it will be there. You can probably talk to your glasses. They will
Yeah,
definitely take video. The
they'll get better
video might be better.
cameras. Yeah, they may get better. We may see. I think XMEMS may eventually be talking about some stuff. That's a company that has the. They've been building sort of the fans and the sensors that can go right on, right embedded within a chip. So some of that stuff is kind of cool. We're going to see the stuff evolve, but I also think part of the conversation needs to be, what are we doing here, folks? Like, what? That's what I'm asking the people building AI tools right now, especially as we're seeing these AI tools come out. That's what I'm doing when I see a lot of companies make questionable decisions, just to be like, what are this is terrible. There's going to be some news coming out of CES probably around some questionable decisions a company made that they may have to reverse, and you'll be like, oh, because somebody actually sat back and thought about why they're making that decision and not just questioning steamrolling, into a new thing. We can take some questions from the audience too, because I'm sure you have folks, you have questions about CES.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
while we're actually, big one. Samsung soundbar CES 2026. Any info from Field George?
They have
Let's talk
Samsung will
about
have
that.
Samsung will have sound bars. Yes,
The sound bars will exist.
they will exist. That's what they do every year. It's sound bars.
Any new
Yes.
details though?
What are we? Nobody is doing anything around. Let me see. We just read up a story. LG is announcing a modular Dolby Atmos system, so that's kind of cool because you can buy the base soundbar and basically start building on Dolby Atmos speakers as you buy new pieces. So you can start with the soundbar, get surrounds, get a subwoofer, and then get height channels, and then like make a really cool Dolby Atmos system. That's kind of cool. I think that's a good way to upgrade into a system. It's something I wish more companies did. Sonos is kind of the only one doing that right now. Sonos and Vizio and some Sony stuff, but to basically piecemeal create a whole system without a receiver, that could be kind of useful. Sure, I think that's great. Let me see here. Rev Rogers, thank you in the chat, is making some good points right now too. Tech is not the problem; making us the consumable is the problem. Sure, that is absolutely it. If the tech is a vehicle to make us, the products, though, like to me, that is the potential issue there.
Also,
Hmm.
there's always the possibility of like weird stuff at CES.
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to the weird stuff. I think
Weird.
everybody's always looking forward to the weird
Yeah.
stuff. I'm hoping for more poop tech at CES 2026. I'm also thinking about that story that came up just in the last couple of days, or no, not last couple of days, but last week,
Hmm.
about the toilet camera that was supposedly end-to-end encrypted, but it was not end-to-end encrypted, which is really
Which
important
everybody says.
if it's taking video of your end.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's from Kohler. That's not from like a random startup. It was from Kohler, the company that
Yeah.
makes fixtures and is a trusted brand. You know what happens when you launch a sloppy tech product like that? Your trusted brand image tarnishes immediately. It is so hard to gain trust, so easy to lose that. Um,
So yeah, those are the things that I'm looking forward to, like the weird like bathroom sort of stuff. There's always like some beauty stuff, and probably companions. Like that's something that we've seen at the last bunch of CESs. It's it's all going to be AI. What is it? It's going to be AI enabled.
I,
There's going to be
yeah,
AI in some kind of like fuzzy thing that maybe vibrates and purrs and like
that already exists. Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
gets warm or something, and like it's going to be soothing to humans. Everybody's going to say, oh well, you can give it to both kids and old people because that's
Those things exist, and you know what's happening? People are giving those toys to kids, and the AI, they're like toys coming out of China, and the AI is immediately getting to like weird, disgusting shit. It's kind of hilarious right now. If you Google, I think it was NBC News who did that report, but look up AI toys going to kids immediately. immediately like the models are going off the rails and saying disgusting stuff to children. So got
And
that
then there was that
non-deterministic.
toy just
Mhm.
recently that they ended support for, and there were a bunch of kids that like, okay, they have a friend, they don't quite understand that why the friend is going away, so you're setting them up
Yeah,
for a similar tragedy to
that was
what
the
happens
the
to a lot
robot.
of state fair
Mhm.
goldfishes.
It was a robot I wrote up. It was featured in Megan 2.0. Megan 2.0 ended up being
Really?
the body of that robot. Yeah.
That's
Even though
funny.
the company was already dead at that point. Yeah, here's the piece from Kevin Collier, who's always doing good work over at NBC News. AI toys for kids talk about sex and issue Chinese Communist Party talking points test show. New report from
Wow.
Public Interest Research Group and tests conducted by NBC News found a wide range of AI toys have loose guardrails. So, listeners, and especially people in the chat, when we talk about like this is why we need to take a step back and maybe think about this stuff. Loose guardrails, non-deterministic tech, stuff that can do whatever it wants, or at least do things that you don't directly control. There are dangers in that. This immediately this sort of thing is what happens. So I'm not surprised. Maybe we'll see some more AI toys like this, but I'm not too happy about like where the direction of all these toys is going. We're likely going to see some new tech from toy companies in general. CES
Hmm.
has been a good ground for that. I know Lego has an event that's happening, so we're going to be covering all that stuff. There's going to be a lot of stuff. We love the surprises, but in terms of like what we expect, it is a lot of the usual stuff. But we're entering CS as a sort of like a weekend industry between the tariffs, between the memory prices, between AI in general kind of being a disappointment, but also AI PCs not really doing much. So these are all the questions swirling in our heads, and I want to know if there's specific stuff you want us to focus on at the show. Drop me an email, podcastinggadget.com. We want to, we'll take some direction. We'll be making some short videos and stuff. We do want to hear from you guys. Anything you want to mention, Ben? Yeah.
No, I
Okay.
think that was a good wrap. I wanted to mention something that Tom Rogers said, but we could do it after we're done with this recording,
Sure.
technically.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to do the outro for this
Do the
episode,
outro. Yeah.
and then we can wrap things up because it is
Yes.
12:30.
Yes.
Um, okay, that's it for the episode. Happy New Year, everybody. Our theme music is by game composer Dale North. Our outro music is by our former managing editor, Terrence O'Brien, and the podcast is produced by me, Ben Ellman. You can find Devindra online at
At Devindra on Blue Sky, and also a podcast about movies and TV at the Filmcast at thefilmcast.com.
I don't see everything. So if you see a weird, interesting thing at CES, if you're following somebody else who's at the like small company part of the conference floor, please post that to me, DM it to me on Blue Sky at Hey Bellman. Email us at podcast@engadget.com. Leave us a review on iTunes because I promise you it helps. And subscribe on anything that gets podcasts. That includes Spotify.
Thanks, folks. We're out. All right,
There
chat.
we
I'll,
go.
I'll take a couple of questions, but
Yeah, there's
we're here.
one
We're doing
other
this.
thing
Yeah.
from Tom Rogers who says, what
Yes.
is the most needed tech solution that we should be looking at CES? Too many times we get answers to things that are not problems. I
Yeah.
don't think that we're going to have a good answer for you there because like it's going to come out of the blue. It's going to be surprising that like, oh wow, here's something that's actually pretty useful. I think it's going to probably continue being
Hmm.
solutions to problems that don't exist.
Well, we can think of the problems that do exist right now, and I've been seeing more and more reports about stuff like window balcony and window pane solar cells, like people buying small solar units just to like help their power bill a little bit. And we will probably see more of that. We've seen a lot of companies diving into solar and that stuff getting cheaper. There's a market there, especially as power prices go up. People rely on electricity for more things. To just have like a little solar unit, you don't have to have a whole array on your roof. They're going to get more efficient, even if it's like $1,000 or something. If you're generating some power to cut off a chunk of your power bill, that could be, to me, that's useful stuff.
Yeah, that's like a couple of tech industry things at once. Because why is your power bill going up? It's probably because of the data centers in your
Yes,
area.
probably because of the data centers ruining everything, and then yeah, you also maybe you're getting more devices or whatever. Yeah.
So I think I've mentioned before that like my dad worked in local government. He spent his
Yes.
entire career as a civil servant, and so he, like, I've talked with him about different ways of getting like solar onto big buildings.
Mm,
He worked in city planning, so I kept on suggesting to him that anytime a um, building did any kind of a significant change to their
mhm,
parking structure or like parking lot, if they wanted to do something more than repave the parking lot, it would also, like, the city laws would make them put in like some charging
mhm,
points. And his big issue with local solar was that he, I don't know, he didn't really understand how it could be helpful to the grid. He thought that he would always call it or he always calls it Etsy electricity. But people are going to want that more and more. If your power bill is going up, I would love to cut 25% off of my
yeah.
power bill,
Those were
especially
old
during the summer.
panels too. Those old panels he's probably thinking of were not super efficient. They took up a lot of space to do stuff, and as they get more efficient, they will hopefully be more useful to people, like you're saying. Yeah. This was a good chat. Thank you, folks. Deeper Nine,
Yep.
Deeper Nine. Gotta love you. I love the blue sky DMs you sent me. But yeah, AI is the new satanic panic. Make better AI toys. Yes, that's why we're criticizing them, so they make them better. But
You
if
need better guardrails
you
before
need
you
but
can
also if you
make
just
better AI
blindly
toys.
sit back and accept all the slop, all the AI stuff being given to you, they will not be forced to get better. Like that's the thing. That's the power of criticism too. Think of imagine what that Sonic movie would have looked like if they went with ugly Sonic, right? What a societal benefit it was that people were immediately like, no, no ugly Sonic. We gotta fight this, and I think we all ended up better for it. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for joining us. I think you can wrap, Ben.
Yes, thanks everybody for watching. OBS by Devendra. Camera switching was very good in the beginning, not so good when I was talking more, but like it was still
Fine.
done by me. Thank you to DPro9. Thank you to Tom Rogers. Thank you to Field George. Thank you to WX Romer. Thank you to Mo Esquire, Cherlynn Lowe, whoever that is. Kevin says, I'm scrolling like Simon B. You're probably not even watching anymore, but like, thank you everybody for watching for another successful year of Engadget live streams. We like doing them. We love the fact that you make us smarter even as we're recording everything. I think we've found a really good balance for bringing things in from the chat that also don't make it feel like audio listeners are only listening to like audio from a streamer and like they're not getting what they want. So thanks so much. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks so much, folks. And yeah, stay tuned to Gadget for our CS coverage. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast and subscribe to our social channels because we're gonna have videos there. Our TikToks, I'm gonna push. I'm gonna try to like a live blogger. I'm gonna try to or what do you call it? The people who are just putting videos of their lives up. I'm gonna do some of that.
Life
We'll do
streamer,
things.
maybe.
Live streamer. We'll do some of that. But see you in 2026, folks. Thanks.